Welcome back. All right, we got a very special guest coming on here now. His name is Don Fowler, and I guess we have him, don't we, guys? There he is. Hey, Don, how are you?
Good, Ron. How about you?
All right. Well, listen, we got about an hour for you to tell us everything you know about our new system that we're implementing.
Yep.
And then I'm going to take a few questions on it after that.
Okay,
right?
sounds good.
So I'm going to start by asking you a few questions, and then I'm going to interrupt whenever I see fit. All right.
You got it.
There ain't no sense in me trying to tell everybody how important you are. I'm going to let you do that. So why don't you do that first? Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name's Don Fowler, and I'm really a technologist, and really want to bring cutting edge technology to the real estate industry. And what we've created, Ron, is your Deal Finder program. I think everyone's going to be really, really impressed with what we put together here for your group.
I know I was.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess let's start with, we had to come up with a name for this thing. It's all brand new, guys. So we came up with Ron's Deal Finder. That's the best we could do. And it took us an hour and a half to come up with that name, Don. I'll tell you that.
But you know what? It's very descriptive. And
yeah, it tells what it does. That's what it does. All right. You tell us, what is it and what will it do for us?
Well, Ron, I have a little slideshow, and then what I really want to do is take everybody through a really nice in-depth demo. So if it's okay with you, I'll jump into a couple of slides and then go right into a demo.
Go for it.
All right, let me share my screen here. Okay.
In fact, you guys can get me off the screen if you want. I'll give him the whole screen.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see me or not, but you can see the screen, right?
Yes, I can.
All right. So like you said, it's the Deal Finder program, and really ultimately, guys, data equals deals. And I think that's what you're going to see when we get into the demo, right? And we really have coalesced this data, this massive amount of data, into a really usable format so you can go find deals. So what type of data do we have? And I think this is a good way to start too, Ron, is just kind of take a step back and let's look at all the data feeds that we've got in here, and then we can kind of go from there. So first of all, absentee owners, a great data source. So we've got all of those already loaded up in the platform. Long-term owners, these are people who have owned it for more than 30 years. So these are people that are retiring. Most of these are what's called the pretty houses, right? So these are people that have taken care of their houses and now ready to move on. Bankruptcy, right? These are people who really need to help them out in their situation. And this is also a great lead source, a great data source as well. Board investors, boy, don't we know a lot of those guys, Ron? So, so these are people who have owned their property for a long time, and these are just kind of bored, worn out landlords. And right now, there's a lot of those people. Honestly, I think that's probably the best lead source right now in today's market. Just people ready to kind of cash out and be done with their rental property. All the pre-foreclosure stuff. So we get all that data real time and put it right into the platform. And then foreclosures, once it's gone through the foreclosure process, we've got those. So 2 different lead sources to denote where that property owner is at. Active listings, who wants MLS access really easily? It's all built in. So you can, and we're going to show you how this works, but you can actually see the active listings and see if those are deals that you might be interested in too. Oops.
So Don, let me interrupt you.
Sure.
So you're saying I can actually get on the MLS system?
You can actually see all the active listings. So right in the platform. So I'll show you. I think it's easier to show you than talk about it. But it's just a great way to filter and sort on those types of deals that you might be interested in.
All right.
And then another one, potentially inherited. So probates are very, very expensive leads, right? So what we've done is we've created a system that really says, hey, you know what? This is probably a probate. So that's the reason we call it potentially inherited. These are situations where that house was probably inherited from spouse to spouse or a parent to a child. And this is a great lead source as well. Vacant properties. So the really cool thing about vacant properties is that so you've seen some of these lists out on the market, and they're just like my potentially inherited. They're potentially vacant. These are real vacant properties. We actually get a daily United States Postal Service feed every day, and it'll tell us which ones are vacant and which ones aren't. So we get a real-time update. So those are always updated. Really great lead source as well. And then who doesn't like zombie properties? So this is a mashup between foreclosures and vacants. So another great lead source as well. And the way I think, Ron, that you and I looked at it is every single house in the country, it has a story. So what is the story of all of these houses? And the way to really kind of group them into their own little buckets or their own little avatars is to create what we call super lists. So what's a super list? It's basically a way we can filter. Let me actually go back. We can filter through all these different things. So all the different data that I just showed you, you could say, hey, I just want to see absentee owners who are vacant. And I'll show you how that works. But here's how we do it. We have all the tax assessor data. We have all the AVM modeling. So we know what that property should be worth after it's been repaired. We know all the deed and mortgage data, right? So we know what their LTV, their loan to value is at a moment's notice, right? So we know every moment what that true LTV is. We know all the legal records, right? So we get all this stuff for our pre-foreclosure and foreclosure information. We know all the owner types. So we know.
Hold up.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So do you have other things like for foreclosure filings and bankruptcies and divorces, and all that stuff?
Not divorces. So we do, and I'll mention at the very end. So don't let me forget about divorces, but bankruptcies, absolutely. Pre-foreclosures, absolutely. Those big life events are all built in.
Okay.
And then we also know all the different owner types, right? So if it's a business that owns it, a government, an individual.
So you have the ability to sort out properties that are owned by businesses and not mailed to them.
Exactly.
As well as properties owned by trusts.
That's exactly right, Ron. And that's a huge thing to maybe sort these people out, not necessarily sort them in, right?
Right.
Yep, exactly. And then all the property types. So not only individual single family homes, but we have townhomes, multifamilies, apartments, land, all that stuff is all built in. So
if I'm looking for land, I can just put in land, can't I?
Yeah, it's really that cool that you're
I happen to be in the land business, with some of my folks. So if I want to weed out townhouses, I can. If I want to just search for townhouses, I can.
Yep, exactly. I think I got off that.
Don, I know you're trying to get through this. Don't worry about it. I'm going to give you whatever time we need. I'm in control of that. But I think we probably ought to start by saying the whole purpose of this thing is to target in on the best quality list of people that we can mail to, and you're even going to do that, and I know you're getting to that. All right,
That's exactly right. It's how to find those gems in the massive amount of properties, right? So how to whittle this down.
Yep.
Okay. The other really cool thing is that you can geocode everything that we're talking about. You can draw a little line. So if there's a specific neighborhood or a specific part of town that you like versus another part, and you just want to see what's in that, maybe that school district or whatever it is, you can do that. So another great feature for sure. And then we also have all people data. So Ron, you mentioned it, bankruptcies, but we also have private lenders in there who would like more money, right? So I think all of us want more money. So there's a great private lender feed in here as well.
How do you know they're private lenders?
Yeah, so these people have a net worth of over $2 million, and I'll go and look at the exact definition, but they also have income producing real estate properties. So these are still, though, this isn't like somebody that says, hey, I want to invest with Ron's students. No, you still have to go and cultivate this relationship. So this is a raw data feed where you can go out and build that relationship with these people.
Okay, and we happen to have a website where that is already done. We just send them the video, and it tells them what a private lender is and what's in it for them.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So let's get into the demo. I think that's really the cool thing here. So when you get into Ron LeGrand's Deal Finder, this is kind of the main screen where everything happens. So you can do any type of search. You can do a county, a city, a state, a zip code, anything like that. So we're going to do Duval, if that's okay, Ron, since that's your neck.
Well, yeah, that's I'm kind of partial to that.
And
Okay.
you can type in multiple locations here if you want. We can also, you see all the lead types that we just talked about. So absentee owners, and each
Perfect.
you can
Yeah.
put a little question mark here and it'll tell you what an absentee owner is. Go ahead, Ron.
I was just going to say perfect. That's a good one to choose because that's one we always use.
Yep. And you can scroll down this list. So let's just go down this one time. Cash buyers, we know who cash buyers are. Free and clear. So these are the property owners who own it.
Mhm. Yeah.
High equity, low equity, upside down, right? So these are all, this all
Perfect.
comes from our mortgage data.
Yeah.
Active listing, so that's your MLS feed. Board investors, foreclosures, long-term owner, potentially inherited, pre-foreclosure, and vacancy, and then finally zombie properties. So again, if you're not sure what a zombie property is, you can just hover over that question mark, and it'll tell you it's vacant, and it's also a foreclosure. So
Meaning it has been filed on, but it has not been foreclosed yet.
yeah, pre-foreclosure. I'm sorry. Yep. Thank you.
Yes. So we can still contact the owner and get a deal.
Yep. And we even give you a little link here so you can even read up more about that.
That would be a prime list, wouldn't it?
It really is. It really
Yeah.
is. And then here's the owner types: individual, business, financial, government, trust.
Yeah.
And then the types of properties. So let's say, Ron, you don't want to do townhomes. You just unselect it right there.
Right. Well, that's cool. I want to do them. I like them.
All right. Let's
So don't unselect it if you're doing Duval.
All right, so now what we're doing is we're loading up we're loading up every single property in Duval County right now. So you have access to literally everything, right? So right now you can see on the top left-hand side, and I want everyone to kind of keep an eye on this number as we go through the demo. So there's 312,000 property types in here, right? So again, they're not all single-family homes. There could be townhomes, there could be land. So there's 312 records. 312,000 records. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we can do is we can go click on this tab again, and let's say we want absentee owners. Okay. So what that's going to do is it's going to automatically sort out all the non-absentee owners. So you can see right now we moved from 300 and some thousand to 87,000. There's 87,000
Wow.
absentee owners.
That's
That's an
surprising me.
incredible amount, right?
It sure is.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of the hub. You're in such a great market for rentals. So then let's say that I want to see absentee owners, but you know what? I only want to market to the people that have it verified vacant right now. So they might be having some issues.
That's good.
Yep.
And
So,
do the zombies while you're at it.
yeah, so I will. Yep. So we get 4,403. Okay. So 4,000 absentee owners that are verified vacant. I'm going to do zombie properties on its own. But then let's say, you know what, Ron, I don't want to mess around with any kind of mortgages. I just want to talk to the people who own it free and clear. Okay. And maybe the strategy is you want to see over leveraged people. So you do upside down. But in this case, we're going to do free and clear. So we have 2,700 properties. Now think about this real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 2,700 properties that are owned by someone that's not living in the property, that's vacant and free and clear. Do you think this is a pretty decent list to go market to?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And it's small enough to where we can handle the marketing to it as well. It doesn't have thousands on it. It has hundreds.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you could see the properties. Oops, I zoomed out on accident there. But you can see the properties on the left-hand side here, or on the right-hand side, that each one has these little tags: absentee owner, it's cash buyer, free and clear, and vacant, because that's the search that we did. But you could see this one's a board investor. So this one's owned for more than 10 years and it's vacant, right? So maybe that's even a better list. So we can go and click board investor 2 and really whittle this thing down to a very, very small number of
A
people.
board investor with a vacant property that lives out of town that's free and clear.
Yeah, exactly. So we can even say, you know what, I just want to see the ones that are out of state absentee owners. So now let's see how good we do, Ron, here. So 470, now we got it down to 63,
Wow. Okay.
right? So these are
That's
63 prime deals, right? This is why it's called
sure
deal
are.
finder, right here.
Yeah, they are prime. We do whatever we can to get hold of those 63.
Exactly. So let's say we want to take these 63. We're going to
You know what? Before you
Yep.
go any further, if it was me, I'd take my letter and I'd put it in a FedEx envelope and mailed all 63 of them, make sure they got it and opened it.
I love it. Yep. And so let's say we want to do that. Let's say you want to take this 63 and you're going to export them out and you're going to do the FedEx letters. So you're just going to hit standard export them out, and then that's it. So it's going to come in as a CSV file for me, and then I can go ahead and download that and send it off to whoever's going to do that. There's a couple other options I can do too. You can also export them as a Facebook custom audience. This is so cool, guys. So you can take this list and then we export it out so that Facebook can take it right in. And it's called a custom audience. And the really cool thing is we match with all the data that we have, about 75% of these people will actually match their personal Facebook profile. Then you can serve up a very, very, very inexpensive ad right in their feed, and say, hey, are you tired of owning that out-of-state property that's vacant? Right? It's a very custom message to that individual, right? And so they may want to reach out to you right there, and those are like pennies to get that engagement. Okay. The other thing you could do is you could skip trace, right? So what we can do is take these numbers, this data that we have on the homeowner, not the person living there. Well, in this case, they're vacant, but in the actual owner. And then for 10 cents, we'll send you back their phone number, their cell phone number, even their VoIP line if they have one. Most people don't have a landline and a cell phone.
You sure that's 10 cents, not $10?
Only 10 cents. So I think that's the thing, Ron, is that if you go try to get this somewhere else, you might be paying 15 if you're lucky.
I never heard of a skip trace that cheap.
No, I know.
No,
That's the idea. So we really want to drive the cost down. In that same vein, we also have direct mail. So
this is great. I love this.
Yeah, this is I know this is pretty cool. So we have two different types of direct mail. One is personally penned. So this is actually a true blue Bic pen. A robot holds the pen. So you write the letter out. You just type out what you want. Here, let's actually go through this. So instead of me, we've got a couple of minutes here, right, Ron?
Yeah, sure, plenty.
So I'll go through this quickly. But so you call it a name. So I'm going to call it a test, and we can do 1 touch, 2 touch, up to 5.
Wait a minute, stop. They don't know what that means.
Yeah,
It
so
means you can program this to do 1 mailer, 2 mailers, 3 mailers, 4 mailers, and so forth.
exactly. So you could see that here's the letter. We can edit the letter right here. So we just type out what we want. So you just literally just type whatever you want, right? And it's done, and you hit create. In this case, I won't. And you can see that the price is relatively expensive. It's $1.69, but keep in mind, there's a couple things here. One, this is a true handwritten letter. This is a robot with a real pen and makes real accidental smudges. We have 5 different S's, right? So the S's all look different. Literally, you cannot tell that a non-human wrote this letter. So in this case, 60 some odd people, maybe we opt to do this. This might be the most beneficial way. Go ahead, Ron.
So that's a letter in an envelope, stuffed, stamped, sealed, and mailed.
Yep, with a live stamp on it. So a real first class
Live stamp. Okay. I mean, so that's like our yellow letter campaign for those of you who know what we're talking about. And literally, you could print this on yellow lined paper if you wanted to, couldn't you, Don?
Yeah, we actually have some templates, or not templates, stationery. So you can get the lighthouse stationery, you can get the boat. There's a few different options there. So we have some really it looks like you sat down at your desk and wrote it.
All right.
So it's a little different than a normal yellow letter, but it does look like pen to paper stationery right there. So the other direct mail I want to show you is just the kind of the standard postcard direct mail. But let's see here. I may have to go back. Let's see my leads. Okay, let me just start over. Might be getting an error because let's see, because I backed out of that personally pen. So let me just redo this. Select this page. There we go. All right. So this is normal direct mail. So I'm going to put past, and then again we can do 1, 2 to 5 pieces. So let's just do 2. And we can choose if it's going to go out weekly, every other week, or once a month. So we'll do every other week.
And it's a different piece.
I'm sorry? Yeah, this is a different piece. So
Okay.
This is the thing I want you to focus on right on this page is for $20 a year, we'll give you a phone number. And then as these calls come in, we'll actually send you an email saying that, hey, this person from your campaign just called you. Yeah.
Say that again now. So for $20 a year, you rent me a phone number, my area code.
Yep.
Area code.
Your area code.
And then when a call comes through that number, you advise us.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
my
We
God.
not only tell you that you got a call, we actually tell you who called, because remember, we have all that skip trace data too. So we can actually tell you who's calling from that direct mail piece.
Yeah. So, and of course, guys, you got to make sure you keep these numbers separate so that you use one number for each media you're using instead of, you can't use one number for all kinds of medias. You'll never know what media is working. So for $20 a year, what is that anyway? About $1.75 a month for that phone number? I think that'll work.
Yeah, exactly. And the really cool thing is you can reuse these. So let's say you run a campaign today and then 90 days later, you're ready to run another campaign. You can reuse this exact same number if you wanted to, because, odds are no one's going to call anymore after that.
Sure.
So the other thing to take note of is mail a copy to myself. And I highly recommend that, because then you can see the quality of the mailer. You can see that it came, that it actually got delivered. But most importantly, when it was delivered, right? Yeah, because that way that you should be expecting calls coming in.
That's called seeding your list, mailing it to yourself.
Exactly. This is the key though. So check this out. This pricing is for a first class postcard and these are full color postcards, really thick paper, and it's got a real 22-cent stamp on it. So we charge you guys 35 cents. We're not making money here is the point, everyone. It's 22 cents just for the stamp. So there's 13 cents left over.
Wow, that's cheap, man.
Everything else. Yeah,
that's cheap. Yep.
And so
I can tell you from a lot of years, you're going to probably have better luck with a 6x9, guys, than you are to 4x6.
So there you go.
You can test them both.
Listen to Ron for sure on those.
Let's mail a 4x6 and then later mail a 6x9 or vice versa.
Yep. Yeah, and the postage is more. I'm not certain on the postage, but there's no margin in here. So this isn't that we're not getting rich here. We're really trying to provide this service so that you can use this and feel like, man, I'm getting the best possible price. And there's no volume commitment either. You could literally send one postcard for 9 cents.
It's amazing.
The other really neat thing that we let you do is we let you upload your own postcard. So if you have something that works really well, or Ron, if you come out with something great and it hasn't been uploaded yet, the end student can just upload it themselves. It takes about a day, but then after you have it.
I'm looking over here now, your 8.5 by 11 letter.
Yeah.
And you're telling me you can put that thing in the mail for 79 cents.
Yep.
And the other day I bet you a lobster dinner you can't. So did I lose this bet now, or is that confirmed?
You've already totally lost that bet, Ron.
I have? Okay. Yeah. So that's a 55-cent stamp. So you're telling me the rest of that is for the letter, the envelope, the work, the letter shop work, the stuffing and the stamping and all that crap. That's cheap, man.
Right.
That is really, really cheap.
And you know, the best part about this is the moment. So let's go ahead and go through this process.
Wait a minute, stop before you go any further. A while ago, we was talking $1.69 a letter. What are
Right.
we doing here? This
So-
is not a hand addressed letter.
This is not handwritten. So this is just printed on with an inkjet printer. That's the big difference.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go through this process, but here's the really neat thing here. So we're going to do 2 different postcards. We're going to hit next. And when we go to checkout, so here's our preview. Okay. Tired of being a landlord. I mean, they're perfectly written already. But again, you can upload your own. So when we submit order right here, so today is Wednesday. There's a very good chance that this mail gets delivered on Friday. There's a more likely chance that it gets delivered on Saturday. And then worst case, it's going to get delivered on Monday.
So that's how we gauge when we can expect phone calls. And frankly, we won't know till we do our first mailing, and that's going to depend on what city we're in.
Yeah, but most times when you do a mail campaign like this, it's a week, 2 or 3 of waiting, waiting for all the logistics to get done. In this case, we're on it. So we have 12 regional centers that are ready to send that direct mail immediately for you. Okay. So
Really cool.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
I told you I was impressed. Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's go back to my slideshow. Well, before we do that, let me show you a couple more things here, and then I'm gonna blow your mind here, Ron. Okay, I know you've already seen it, so let's go back to Duval. Okay, so I just wanted to show. Well, we need to do that zombie search too. So let's click on zombies and let's see what we've got here. So it's loading up.
You didn't click on it, did you?
No, not yet. I'm going to let it load up. So there it is, 312,000. And then I'll click on zombie. And so again, these are a combination of, so look at that, only 98. That's very interesting. So only 98 zombie properties right now. That's a different data.
Yeah, but wait a minute. That's people in pre-foreclosure now. Means they've been filed on. But you're in a market right now where they're stalling off foreclosures, and a lot of banks are not even filing on them. And I'm sure that's why they're way down.
You know what? Let's just look at this. I bet you anything, the pre-foreclosures are really, really low. Yeah, there's only 2,300, and that's obviously not completely accurate with all the shadow stuff that's going on right now, right?
Yeah.
So let's go and say that we want to look at pretty homes. So free and clear, long-term owner. Okay. And then the reason I want to do this is I want to show you. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Can you do low equity
Yes.
and not free and clear?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I'm looking for nice houses with low equity. In fact, why don't we just go ahead and do absentee owners?
With low equity.
And in fact, I don't even care if they're vacant. I don't want to do that. Let's just see how many of these we are.
Okay, so we have 4,300, but this is what I wanted to show, some of the other search criteria. So let's say that you don't want anything that's not a 2-bedroom. Okay, so
3 bedroom. I want 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms.
I'll knock a lot of them out, and I want 2 baths.
Okay.
All right. Now
So
how
we
many
started
got?
off with like 4,300, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're at
now-
2,700.
Okay.
So now we can say square foot. What do you say, Ron? More than 1,500?
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's see. So
I don't
17
care.
year
Well,
built.
okay. Post 1965.
So 1965 and no maximum.
Mm-hmm.
I hope everyone's really catching the gravity here of what's happening.
You're not awake. So now I got 1,393 very prime prospects that have low equity. Now the reason I'm saying this because I used an example earlier, Don, of a house that I have that had low equity. Those low equity houses are prime targets because they're in excellent condition. They have a low interest rate on them, so they have a low payment on them, and they have a low equity in them, so they're easier to go get for what's owed on them. That's the reason I was targeting those houses. And in this case, they're over 1,500 square feet and they're over 3 bedroom and 2 bath. So is there anything else I should put in there to even sort that down?
If you are not looking for the value, so what type of value do you typically see that?
Oh, let's see, 150,000 plus.
Okay, so 150,000 minimum. Let's see what happens here. And 1,300. So we still got a pretty good list.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's 1,300 prime targets.
Yep. So then we can go do the same thing. We can export those people out. We can skip trace them. We can direct mail. This is my my old list here. Let me remove those. And then I can go here, click all, select all 1.3. Here they are. And then boom, I can do whatever I need to do with them.
Okay.
A couple things I want to show you, and then I'm going to get into the really cool stuff here. Oh,
this ain't really cool?
I'm going to go next level cool on you, Ron.
All right, next level cool.
All right, so let's say that we're driving around, right? I'm going to take this off just so we can have all the data here.
And we find a vacant house?
So if I'm driving around and I say, hey, you know what? I just want to see the vacant properties around me. And these work really, really good on an iPad or a phone.
No way.
Yep. And you could say, hey, this is a vacant property. That's
no way. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Jeez.
And then let's say I want to see all the ones that have got 0 to 25% loan to value. So you can see all the green ones are the ones that, and then all the over leveraged one are the red ones, and then everything in between. You can do square footage, vacant, lot size, last sale price. Let's see, this is probably pretty homogeneous. Yep. So, and then you could also do which ones were the cash buyers. So where are my cash buyer properties at? And hold on, let's see. I didn't click it. There they are. They're the green ones. So, and then remember that polygon feature on my slideshow. That's this right here. I can just easily just click and draw and point and hit the enter. And then now, and over here, it'll just show the ones that are over here. So we have, I think, the value. It's the absentee owners, low equity. So there's only 2 in that tiny little octagon that met absentee owner and low equity.
Well, I don't want low equity in that type. You're in a low income area right there right now. I recognize it. So low equity wouldn't be applicable. Free and clear would be more applicable. Okay. Or high equity.
Yeah. So then you would just take off that and then you could
high equity. Put in high equity.
Okay.
Which would include free and clear, wouldn't it?
It would, yes. Yep. So yeah, there's a cash buyer here and then 2 high equities. And keep in mind, I'm only showing this really, really tight area. I mean, this is just a couple of blocks.
Yeah, right.
So anything else you want me to show? Oh, one more thing I'd like to show real quick. On the sort, you could sort by the auction date, bedrooms, bathrooms, distance, loan to value, square foot, everything. You possibly can imagine it. We've really thought this through so that this is the tool to really, again, find those deals, those hidden gems, out there in the market.
This thing is worth a fortune to real estate investors.
It really is.
I want you to talk about your 1 through 10 rating system.
Yeah. So this is next level cool, guys. All right. Let's see here. So, all right. So would everyone agree right now that there's a lot of noise out in the marketplace? I mean, we're getting hammered with advertisements literally everywhere we are. So there really is, there's just too much noise. So what we've done is we've kind of worked as if we were a Fortune 500 company or a Fortune 100 company and really leveraged data and machine learning and artificial intelligence. This is technology that really is designed and kind of, unfortunately, just kept to those huge companies because it's incredibly expensive to do this type of data. So what happens is when you have the right message at the right time, then you're not a pest anymore. You're not driving somebody crazy. You're not irritating them. You're a welcome guest. You're solving their problem, right? And so we want to, with our artificial intelligence, and for I'm sure there's a lot of older people on the call too, and it blows my mind, and I'm a technologist, but what artificial intelligence allows you to drive tons and tons of data, throw it into a machine, and then it'll look for correlations. So what we do is we take all this type of data. So we've combined, we call it our beast, right? So the machine is the beast, and we want to feed the beast. And all we want to do is just keep feeding the beast with data. So we've done is we've taken 40 years of real estate transaction history and real estate attribution data. So we know everything about every property in the country right now. So we know if it's got a fireplace, we know if it's got a covered porch or not. Every type of attribute that particular property has, we know it. And then if there was an addition made, we know when that addition was done, what happened in that addition, what's extra, and then if anything changed on that in that status of the property after something's been done. Then we also have a lot of other data on the actual people that own the house, right? So we know this type of information on the homeowner, right? So what we do is we combine the two. And again, it's over 250 billion data points, and we're looking for correlations. So a good example is, let's say a couple of years ago, somebody's facing some really bad things in their life, right? And then we see that house sold, and then we see that inside of 12 months, that house sold again for a profit, right? So we know that was a flip. Right? It may have been a fix and flip, it may have been a wholesale, but we definitely know that was an investment property. So what the computer will do is it'll flag it and say, hey, that's the kind of deal that I'm looking for. And then it'll go backwards in time in that person's life, because we own 40 years of data, right? We'll go backwards in time and say, what led up to this situation, to this bad situation of this homeowner when he was facing just a bad time, right? And he just had to sell the house. And so what we'll do then is take a look at today's market and in today's environment and say, wow, look at this. There's a homeowner that's facing almost the same identical issues as this guy did 2 or 3 years ago. And then so we'll score that property a lot higher than some other property, right? So any questions there, Ron?
No.
Okay, does that make sense? Yes. All right, good.
Because it's a ton of them when you're done, but not right now.
Okay, good. This stuff will blow your mind. So what we've done is we've scored every single house in the country from 1 to 1,000. So the higher the score, it's almost like a credit score, but in reverse. So the higher the score, the higher the likelihood that property is going to sell. Okay. So the question is, does it work, right? So when the data guys, these data guys come over to me and say, blah, 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 we're doing this, we're going to do this. And I'm like, yeah, but does it work? And they're like, yeah, it works, because I can go back 3 years from now and say, if we scored the properties now with our current algorithm, and in 3 years, then I get this percentage lift. I'm like, yeah, that's great, but that's in the past. What about today? So we've been testing it, Ron. We're part of the same group. We're part of a really big mastermind group, and they're about 150 of the top real estate investors in the country. Mm-hmm. We gave them this list. We gave them the AI list and said, go beat it up. And we've got about 60 guys using it right now. And every single person who's using it, they're blown away right now. Oh, okay. It's outperforming every other list that they've ever bought in their life. So it absolutely works. But we went backwards in time with our actual real model. So in February 2020, we took a look. So follow my logic here. We scored 100 million single family homes, almost 100 million. So it was 100,528,000, as you can see on the bottom there. Now, inside of that 90-day window from February, March, and April, 945,000 homes sold within that 90 days. So basically 1%, right? So we scored 100 million, 1 million actually sold. So 1% of the property sold. Okay, everyone got that clear?
Yep.
Okay, the red line here represents that 1%. It's 0.94%, but it's basically 1%. If you go below in the red, 400 to that 400 to 499, you could see that if you were to mail or to call on a property or mail or reach out to them, there's a 0.9 less likelihood that those properties are going to sell than not sell. And you go all the way down to 1, it's a 0.7% chance that that property is not going to sell.
Because they just sold.
Correlation. Yeah, go ahead.
Because they just sold.
No. So these are scores that, so these are the 100 million properties that you're looking at right now. The red line represents 1%. So, so let's just look at it as at one property. So if we had said one property that was scored, let's say 475. So that's a 0.9 negative correlation. Let's go to the high end. So let's say there was one property that scored a 925. Then what we're saying with that blue line at the top, so in that group, there's an 11.1 times greater chance that that property sold. So basically, another way to look at it is, let's say you send out 100 mailers to the main median, right? And so out of those 100 mailers, one property will sell in the next 90 days, right, on average. Right?
Okay.
So now, if you were to send that same 100 mailers to the scores from 900 to 1,000, then on average, 11 houses of those mailers,
I got you.
11 of those houses will sell in the next 90 days, not one. So your chances of success just grew 11 times.
Wow. All right, so what you're telling me is that you can produce a list of houses that will score in that 900 to 1,000 range, and frankly, we don't care about anything else because that's just your artificial intelligence tells you that they're going to sell within the next 90 days.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the other interesting thing that we found is really a percentage based on the overall market. So let me show you. So let's go back into our thing. So I didn't touch on this. Maybe the astute one saw this AI scores and these numbers over here, but I skipped right over that because I want to show. So let's take off all my filters. Okay, make sure all the filters are gone. And I've got my polygon search here. So let me delete that. All right. Well, let me start over here. Duval. Okay. All right. So we should get up to our 325,000 properties or so. Oh, I still have that stupid polygon thing going here. Let me just back out. All right, Duval County. All right, so now with the scoring, what I didn't mention before is we score every property 3 different ways. So yeah, 312,000 properties here. So we score retail. So these are properties that we think are going to list on the market, and the homeowner wants to or needs to sell, but doesn't necessarily have to sell. So we think this is a retail listing. Then we have a rental score. These are landlords who we think they need to sell because of the situation that's going on in their personal life. Okay, so a really, really great list for sure. And the final one is wholesale scores. So these are individuals that have some stuff going on in their lives, and we think they need to sell their property at a discount. Okay, so those are the 3 different types of scores, but ultimately, no matter what grouping you're here, these people have a higher propensity to sell than not. Okay, and what we like to do is take a percentage. So 1% of 312,000 is going to be what? 3,000.
3,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if our 1% score, so I'm going to do a 900 and up, and let's see if we can get to about 3,000. So 1,600. So I'm going to go maybe like 850. Let's see what happens.
Well, that's good enough for now because we're running out of time. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so look at that, right at 3,000. So then right now I can sort by wholesale score, and I'm going to get just a list of the best ones, right? So in Jacksonville, this is my best one right here. So 860 is where we topped out at, which is fine. This person's definitely going to need to sell. So then I can just do the same process that I just did. I can select the top 25 and then clear these out, move, get my 25, add them, and then I can export them out. But check this out. I can export them out with the AI scoring built in. So you can then sort them on your spreadsheet or however you do it, and then go to town. So that's it, Ron. I just wanted to really describe that deal finder program and lay it all out.
So what you just told me was that I can select as many of those top scores as I want. And then if I want to narrow them down even further, I can go select some of that stuff like the bedrooms and the baths and all of that we did earlier and really create a prime target list. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's exactly right. That's right.
All right.
One final thing just to mention, on every single property, you have this property page. It shows you the valuations, the open liens, all the information that we have, and then their mailing address and the owner information. So, but that's it, Ron. Thank you very much for the time today.
Well, hold on, because you're going to be answering questions. John, give me my overhead back. I'm sure these folks are wondering what this thing is going to cost, so we're going to give them a really special deal today.
There we go.
All right. John's going to put me up on the board, aren't you, John? Yes. All right. Guys, this is cheap. So it's brand new. In fact, you just heard the first presentation that we've done on this from Don. And I know that he said a lot of stuff you didn't get. So he said a lot of stuff you should have got. And I can tell you, if this ain't exciting to you, you better go take a pill. Because if you're buying and selling houses and you don't get this, this is a game changer, absolutely. In fact, we're going to be using it heavily right here in my house business. There's a $500 setup fee, but today it's a $300 one-time setup fee for everybody. I don't care, whether you're in our systems or not. Right now, before this day is over, you have a chance to set this up, and we will give you 5 zip codes because this is done by the zip codes, right, Don?
That's right.
Okay, we're going to give you. You pay by the zip codes. Okay, we're going to give you 5 zip codes absolutely free for 90 days. So all you got to do is go spend $300, and for 90 days, you get to do anything you want in those 5 zip codes. All right, and then after 90 days, it's only a minimum of 5 zip codes a month, or $200 a month for those 5 zip codes. If you want 10, you just add another 100. It's only $300 a month for 10 zip codes. And by the way, you don't need more than 10 zip codes, okay? Besides, Don, tell them the rules about changing zip codes.
Yeah, you just send us a short email, support at ronsteelfinder.com, and we can change your zip code. Now, it is a manual process, and we don't want you to do it over and over and over and over and over, but we will absolutely change your zip codes once or twice or 3 times a year, whatever you need.
Okay. So if I get 10 zip codes right now, and I can go play with him for a couple of months, and then I can get 10 different zip codes.
Absolutely.
So I literally can cover my whole town here within a few months, right?
Yep.
But the truth is, guys, if you use this system and you mail to 10 zip codes, you ain't going to be able to handle deals anyway. So in my opinion, 10 zip codes is plenty for you to do this. But if you want to start with 5, you can. We're going to give you 5 for 90 days anyway. But for every 5 you add, it's only $100 more per month. So pick and choose. You want 5 here and that's all you want? It's only a $300 setup fee. Setup fee is the same regardless of how many zip codes you use. Let's say you want to start with 10 zip codes today, then it's $300 plus $100 for the second 5 zip codes. I think I got that right. All right. Now you got to get at least 5 zip codes a month, which is only a lousy $200 a month to stay active. You got to stay active because we can't have you in our system spending money. This is very expensive data, isn't it, Don?
I'm looking at this pricing. I'm just shaking my head because it's incredible to think about what you're getting. Without AI, keep in mind, and I don't know if I made this super clear, but you get all the data for all 50 states. There's no reason to ever buy data again.
Right. I agree. In other words, this ends renting mailing lists. All right. Plus, you're in total control of it. It's more accurate data. So anyway, you got to stay in, or if you don't stay in, you want to go out and come back in. It's a $500 setup fee. And I'm going to tell you again, after today, it's a $500 setup fee. We're giving you this $300 today as a special and incentive to get in. And, well, I just said that. So it's really that simple. And yeah, there's a little learning curve. Tell me how I get trained on this thing, Don.
Yeah, we have an incredible support department. So you can just pick up the phone and call. That's probably the easiest way. You can send an email. You can do live chat. There's a lot of options to reach out. We also have a knowledge base with some videos built in. So all the stuff that I showed you today is all on video, and you can kind of take it step by step. But I'll tell you, once you use it once or twice, it's really, really simple.
Yeah. And there it is on the bottom of your screen, Ron's Deal Finder. What is that? Is that a dash in the middle of that?
It's ronlegrand.com/dealfinder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So it's ronlegrand.com/dealfinder. All right. Does it have to be capital letters, or can it be?
It does not.
Not? Okay. All right, guys. There it is. Anyway, Don, we got a bunch of questions, so get ready.
All right, I'm ready.
And I'll have to cut them off when we run out of time here. Go ahead.
I'll be quick with the answers.
All right, Cherry, is this available for masters?
It's available for masters, but the price is no different, guys. We can't get, this is a non-profit deal for us right here. So, it's available for anybody, master or not. But no, there's no discount on this pathetic price for masters. And you cannot use Gold Club points on it if that's the next question.
Dorothy, what's the difference between this and Dreams?
This has nothing to do with Dreams. Dreams doesn't deliver the data like this. I mean, in fact, we still use Dreams, but you won't get this data on Dreams. That's apples and oranges.
Yep. Yeah, you'll be able to import this data into Dreams too.
Okay. In other words, that's where all your property information sheets are going to go. But first, we got to get sellers calling us before we have property information sheets, and that's what this does.
Greg, how do we know it's they are board investor? We have the property records, so we know that they've owned it for more than 10 years.
You don't really know they're bored. It's just that your AI data indicate they would be.
Exactly.
Yeah, we haven't called them and asked them, "Are you bored?"
They can be very excited. But,
yeah. Okay.
Greg says, can we have an example of the handwritten letter?
We're not going to put it back up there now, but he has handwritten letters, and if you don't like it, you can just put your own in there. I saw it.
You can, just to clarify, you can export that list and then do whatever you want to do with it.
All right, Brian, with the letter is yellow available for the color of the letter.
I already answered that question. He said yes.
Yep. You can import any letter you want to. We'll take anything.
Yeah.
All right. Is Zombie a pre-foreclosure?
Yes. And vacant.
Correct.
Prime target.
This is John who? It's Don Fowler. D-O-N.
D-O-N, not John. Fowler.
All right. Is there a way to get the shadow inventory?
I have no idea what that means. Do you?
I think they're referring to the pre-foreclosure backlog, and no.
All right. William says, how do you know if they are listed or not?
We have access to MLS access.
All right, Roger, can you sort out recent expired listings?
No. So that is an update coming. That's a great one. We know about it too. So we're working on it. One thing real quick, while that question, you can pop it up, Nicholas, it's fine art. this will always be improving. So this isn't like, hey, we did this and now we're done. This just continues to make improvements on it, continue to add data to it, and make it better and better.
All right, Lee says, for the Deal Finder program, does it show when the address is clicked on?
I don't know that. I don't understand the question. Sorry.
I don't
Closest
either.
I can think of is like when I'm looking on Zillow, it indicates properties I've already viewed. So does it change the color to show that I visited that property or clicked on that property before?
No, not specifically. No.
All right, Tom says, how often is the data updated? Daily, weekly, monthly?
Depends on the data. So like, for example, the vacancy data, that's updated every day. The foreclosure information, that's updated whenever the county updates it, right? So that could be a little laggy. The AI score, they come out once a month at the beginning of the month. So we rescore all 100 and whatever million properties once a month at the beginning of the month.
Okay.
All right, where does the finder search to find data?
Where does the finder search to find data? He just told you he's got 2 billion data points in this thing. It searches all the records for all the properties in the United States of America. Is that correct?
Correct. We have some very, very tiny gaps in some, very, very rural areas, but 99.9% we're done. Yep.
Does this even include California?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I haven't seen the question yet, but I know I will. We have Canadian students too, Don. So is there any data from Canada?
Canada?
Canada.
No Canadian data.
Sorry, move.
Or work in the U.S. from Canada?
Yeah, work the U.S. from Canada. That's a smart idea. You have the internet up there, don't they, Don?
I think so still.
Yeah, okay. Couple more, we're gonna have to go.
All right, Corey says, can our VAs, bird dogs, assistants, et cetera, use this program? Multiple users? Can there be multiple return address offices in multiple states?
Yes, yes, and yes. All of those are yeses.
So I can have multiple users on this thing at the same time?
Yes, it's really let's talk offline, Ron, but worst case, you can share your access with your VA and both of you can be logged in at the same time with the same username.
Okay.
All right, I might have missed this, but where would I get the Deal Finder program? It's right there on your screen.
ronlegrand.com/deal finder. Okay.
With the sort feature, can we do the top 50?
Absolutely. You do whatever you want. That's the idea, is we've made the platform so flexible that whatever you want to do, you should be able to search on it.
And your guys, you were talking about the collective genius, that mastermind group that we're in. I mean, you're right. They're the top real estate investors in the country. In fact, you're supposed to be doing 50 deals just to get in the dumb thing per year. And I'm a member of it and glad to be a member. So really what you're saying is the guys in there that are using this are getting really good results just from picking the top that your AI system says that are going to sell within the next 90 days. Is that correct?
Glad you mentioned this. I was actually talking to a couple of your members yesterday, Ron, and I was giving them some advice that let the AI do the work. So you might want to say, I want, a certain property, an absentee owner that's vacant, that's blah, blah, blah. But if you're just trying to find those deals, let AI do that for you and just sort the score and go top to bottom. Yes.
Right. Yeah, just pick a number you want to mail to, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And put the parameters until you get to about that number, like you just did actually on the screen.
Yeah, and no one else has this scored data like we have. This is very, very proprietary. It's not like that if you just mail the top 10 people, they're all going to get a bunch of mail from a bunch of other people. No, this is just you guys. So this is really cool stuff for sure.
All right.
All right, Randy says, how do you integrate social media marketing with this software?
Well, what I mentioned was a Facebook custom audience. You can just upload this list and create a custom audience inside of Facebook. It's really, really simple. Facebook's got some great tutorials on it. And that's how you now you become an advertiser with Facebook, and you're paying Facebook to be in their newsfeed.
All right. Does the system comp properties?
Soon. That's what I was. So I don't want to share the screen again, but in that property detail page, Ron, you don't know this yet, but we're creating a comp button right there, so you can quickly do a comp right inside that initial property detail page.
But the answer is comp's already on there. You just got to press a couple buttons to get to them.
Almost. So it's not on there, just to be super clear, it's not on there right now, Ron. You may have seen a different version, but we're about a week or two out adding the comp feature.
All right. Well, it's on their dream system anyway.
Exactly. So you can
Yeah.
run comps there.
By the way, I didn't say that. You don't have to be a Gold Club member to do this. You don't have to have dreams to do this. But honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't. This stuff is cheap, man. Back when I was growing up in this business, gee, you got to be kidding me. I used to spend $1,000 a month just on a little classified ad, for crying out loud. I'd spend $5,000 a month just to get sellers to call me, and $5,000 a month to sell houses. Man, it's never been easier than it is right now.
Think about the time when we used to buy foreclosure data. I mean, that was
yeah.
incredibly expensive.
Yeah. And I remember when I used to go look at listed houses, all we had was a book. It was about that thick. There was no go to the internet and find it, sit on your butt. No, get out there and drive around. So, man, like I said, never been easier. All right, a couple more, Nick, and I got to go. We got to go.
Okay.
We're already late.
Can you do a 1 zip code deal? And if not, why not?
No, 5 zip codes is the minimum because I said so. We don't have time to mess with you if you only want 1 zip code, to be honest with you. All you're paying for is the zip codes, for crying out loud. And honestly, if you don't want to spend $200 a month on this, it just is not for you. And believe me, that's the cheapest you're ever going to get it. Don will testify. We had to beat the crap out of him to get that down there that low for you, didn't we?
Yeah,
you're still recovering.
It
I'm
pains.
telling you. So look, I'm not pulling no punches. If you don't want to spend $200, this ain't for you. Go spend $500 wasting it on direct mail with some crappy rented list. That's up to you.
There's no other place you could get this data, even a third of the data for that price. So it's an incredible value.
And I don't want you to run a business trying to cater to 1 zip code anyway.
Okay. Lynn says, will your customer service help select the right criteria based on our target market for newbies who don't know?
A little bit, yeah. Our guys are definitely savvy as it relates to real estate, but ultimately use AI. Just there's your answer.
That's what I was going to say. You're thinking too much.
Yep.
Lynn, you're thinking too much. I think you totally missed it. Just figure out how many you want to mail. You want to mail 100, just mail the top 100 using the AI scoring system. That's really all you got to do. Let this thing do the work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they went through that pretty fast. I get it. They don't understand that completely.
All right. Dang says, is it web-based or an app?
All web-based, works great on a phone and an iPad, Android. So it does all that.
All right. We're good.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Great job. I know I forced you to go faster than we should have went, but good job.
I appreciate the time. Thank you, everybody, for letting me have a few minutes of your day.
Okay. See you later, man.
All right, take care.
We'll be working together. All right.
Yes, sir.